Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to unpack some really fascinating shifts happening right now, particularly in high fashion. It feels like things are constantly moving, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's pretty electric at the moment,
Yeah.
especially with all the news and, well, the rumors swirling around some of the biggest names.
Exactly. So today we're diving into what's going on with Dior and Gucci specifically. We've looked at reports from, the BBC, Vogue Business, RFI, WWD.
Right. And even some of those social media whispers, like from Miss Tweed, that seem to pop up.
Our goal here is pretty simple, really. We want to cut through that noise for you, our listener, figure out what's actually confirmed, what's just talk.
And try to make sense of what it all means for these huge brands and maybe the luxury world in general.
Yeah, give you the clear picture without you feeling totally lost in the fashion whirlwind.
Okay, so let's start with the solid stuff, the news that's confirmed. Jonathan Anderson, he's the new artistic director for Dior Menswear.
Yes. Big news. He's taking over from Kim Jones, who stepped down back in January 2025. And Anderson, well, he has quite a distinctive style, doesn't he?
He really does. I mean, look at his track record. 11 years as creative director at Lowe. Super innovative stuff.
Hmm.
Designs that often played with, gender fluidity. Rihanna at the Super Bowl halftime show,
Yeah.
that all-red outfit.
Oh, yeah. Iconic.
That was Lowe under him. And Ariana Grande's Met Gala look in 2024, too.
Right, but it wasn't just about these big red carpet moments, was it? His work actually sold clothes.
Exactly. The sources we looked at make it really clear. Lowe's revenue jumped significantly while he was there. That's probably a big reason Dior was interested, you'd think.
Makes sense. And the timing is interesting, too. Kim Jones leaves in January. Anderson's appointment confirmed in April.
Yeah, after months of speculation, as the reports mention, it suggests there was quite a bit happening behind the scenes, which, well, that's pretty standard for these high-level moves in fashion.
And we already know when we'll see his first collection for Dior Home.
We do. June 27th this year, in Paris. That'll be for the summer 2026 season.
Always ahead, fashion seasons. And Bernard Arnault himself announced it, right? At the LVMH meeting.
Yep, made it absolutely official. No room for doubt there.
Okay, so that's the menswear side sorted, confirmed. But this is where it gets a bit more murky, perhaps, with the women's wear side at Dior.
Right. Because the current artistic director for women's wear is Maria Grazia Chiuri. She's been there since 2016.
Yeah. One amplified by sources like Miss Tweed, focusing on that insider buzz. And the main one is huge. The idea that Maria Grazia Chiuri might be leaving Dior, potentially for Gucci.
Which immediately makes you wonder, okay, if that happened, would she replace Sabato de Sarno at Gucci? He only started there in January 2023.
Gosh, yeah. That would make him Gucci's third artistic director in just 3 years. That's a lot of change.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, the audio source we listened to even mentioned feeling a bit surprised by the idea of Chiuri at Gucci. Though they did point out her past work at Valentino with Pierpaolo Piccioli, which was obviously very successful.
It's definitely a surprising thought. Her aesthetic at Dior feels quite established, and De Sarno's only just started shaping his vision for Gucci. Hard to picture, maybe.
It is, but, and this is really crucial, as far as all the official information goes, Maria Grazia Chiuri is still the women's wear designer at Dior.
Right. She just showed her fall collection in Kyoto.
Exactly, and she's got a cruise show scheduled for Rome pretty soon, late next month. Those aren't typically things a designer does if they're about to walk out the door.
Good point. So officially, she's staying put for now, but then adding another wrinkle. Some sources, like Liberation, floated the idea of Jonathan Anderson doing both jobs at Dior, menswear and women's wear.
Wow. Now, that would be demanding. It's pretty rare for one person to handle both at a house that size. Requires immense skill creatively and logistically.
So lots of what-ifs swirling around the women's wear side, even with Anderson confirmed for men's.
Definitely. And if we kind of zoom out a bit, look at the bigger picture, you see this pattern of reshuffling across big fashion brands lately.
Yeah, and several sources mention this general sort of cooling down in the luxury market after that big post-COVID spending spree.
Right. Which might mean brands are thinking harder about who's leading creatively. Maybe it's not just about aspiration anymore, but more considered purchases. So the designer choice becomes even more critical.
Dior seems to be tackling that with Anderson, definitely bringing in a fresh perspective.
And we did see LVMH's first quarter results showed a bit of a dip overall. Dior was apparently slightly below the average for their fashion division.
Which is interesting because, as RFI noted, even with that recent dip, Dior's sales actually went up massively, like nearly quadrupled during Chiuri's time there overall.
Yeah, commercially, she's been incredibly successful for them. It's not like things were broken.
No, not at all. And we also saw other moves like Stella McCartney buying back LVMH's stake in her brand. So there's definitely wider realignment happening.
So why Anderson now? Some speculation points towards needing, quote, new creativity as that post-pandemic boom fades, injecting fresh energy.
Makes sense. And the way these announcements are happening, the New York Times piece kind of hinted that LVMH seems a bit reactive sometimes. Like the Anderson confirmation came after so much public speculation.
Yeah, the rumor mill often seems to run ahead of the official news cycle in fashion. It's intense.
And that point from Benjamin Simonauer in Liberation was really interesting about how these big creative director announcements are timed so carefully for maximum impact during fashion weeks.
Exactly. He was asking, if the Curie rumors are true, when would Anderson actually debut for Dior women's wear? And when would Demna start showing at Gucci? It suggests we could be in for more big reveals soon.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together. What we know for sure. Jonathan Anderson is the new artistic director for Dior menswear. Confirmed. Done deal.
Right. But the talk about Maria Grazia Chiuri leaving Dior women's wear for Gucci and the idea of Anderson maybe taking on both roles at Dior, that's still just speculation based on everything official we have.
It really just shows how fast things move in fashion and how much is driven by, well, rumors and buzz sometimes.
Absolutely. It keeps things exciting, I suppose.
It does. So maybe a final thought for our listeners to chew on. What kind of vibe do we think Anderson will bring to Dior menswear, given his Loewe work?
That's the big question, isn't it? How will his often quite avant-garde, boundary-pushing style translate there?
And then the flip side, if, and it's a big if, Chiuri did go to Gucci, what would that mean for both brands? Aesthetically, commercially, big implications there.
Huge. Definitely something to keep an eye on. The whole industry will be watching, that's for sure.
And so will we here at The Deep Dive. We'll keep tracking these stories and bring you updates as things develop. Thanks for joining us today.